sometimes doesn't guarantee you a win, right? But what it does is tilt the odds and you give a little bit more, that when different situations and things arise, that we'll be right where we want to be. So it's just a process-driven, day-by-day approach to creating a winning lifestyle, as opposed to getting yourself jacked up to win one game or one moment. And again, if you're that type of guy and you're wired with that type of DNA, winning becomes a byproduct of that. But you have to make sure you don't get to skip steps in the process. So that's what we talk about every day.
Hello again, over here. This is a question for the coach, and if the players could add their insights as well. HBCUs, I know historically were started to give the Black community opportunities in the southern states, but with the classics such as this landscape being more exposed on television, how, as you as a coach, does it help the exposure Western region states that are now getting exposed to HBCUs and wanting to come play for an HBCU program? How has that helped you?
That's a really good question, and I think that's what probably we keep talking about the uniqueness of Howard, and excuse us, we represent one of the greatest brands in historically Black colleges and universities. We don't shy away from that. Um, is the amount of phone calls and different things that's happening from schools and young men on the West Coast and California and different places like that that are truly interested in Howard and the brand that we offer. And if you walk into our locker room, uniquely different than a lot of places, we have young people from Oakland, California. We have young men from Houston, from Dallas, from South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, again from all over the country, which makes our locker room fun. It makes it a unique blend of cultures coming together all as one from all different aspects of the country. And I think again that's the power of Howard that allows us to have that attraction to DC, to our university, to the high level of excellence that Howard always represents and what it is. So it's really unique for us, and it's something that I really truly wrap our arms around and embrace, because it's kind of fun to watch all those cultures of young Black men, mesh together like that and get bounded under one standard and the principles of winning, and how we do things. And it's fun to watch those guys blend together, celebrate. Because I tell these young men all the time, these are going to be the men that are in your weddings, right? These are going to be the young men that watch and usher in your first child coming to this world, and probably be godfathers and different things like that. So embrace every one of these moments, embrace these locker room conversations, embrace these long sometimes bus rides, and embrace these all the hard work you guys put in the weight room, where you don't know if you can take another step, or you can push yourself a little bit harder, and you look to the man to your left of you and on the right of you, in front of you and your back of you, and they're the motivating factors. We talk often as a team about young men getting up and sharing their story. What's your DGA, your dreams, goals, and aspirations? Share them with your brothers. So at the end of the day, when you're having one of those days, and I know what it is that motivates you and what moves you, I can tap you on the shoulder and say, I got your back. I got your back. But to be that transparent and that vulnerable with each other from all over the country, it's unique. And it's a fun thing to watch. And again, I think that's a formula for winning too as well.
Hello, I'm Christina Compare Minor, the social media manager for Florida A&M University, and the number one public HBCU, Florida A&M, and the number one private HBCU, Howard University, is playing tomorrow. So, of course, my question is going to be, what is your ultimate career goal as students? For people that are watching, for students that are incoming, for current students right now, I would love to know the players' current majors or your ultimate career goal being student athletes. And Coach, of course, you can share your major when you were in school if you want.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. We're going to keep that one about the young man. Well, we're going to start. Well, I'm going to just, because what I'm most proud of both of these guys is Braylon's in grad school. He's already a graduate of Howard University. And I don't think Kedrick's made anything below, we call him 4.0 Ked for a reason. Right? I think every semester he's been at Howard, he's been right at a 4.0, over a 4.0, or hovering right at it, right? Am I correct? So I'm most proud of what these young men have accomplished off the field. 10 times more than I'm excited about what they do on the field. So, but before then, I just wanted to, kind of do it as a proud father. But go ahead.
Right now, I'm currently getting my master's in social work. I think after football, I think I want to be a sports therapist. Like Coach Scott kind of said, we're living in hard times right now. So it's going to be important to have someone to be able to go talk to in situations. I know how football can be mentally and physically can be draining. So being able to have someone you can come talk to in the sports area, I think that's what I want to do.
And me right now, I'm currently a senior sports management major. And after I graduate, I plan on going back to school to get my master's. And ultimately, what I want to do to that, I want to work in player development somewhere for a professional sports league or a professional sports company. And that's my ultimate career goals.
We have 2 more questions.
Hello, my name is Rashad West. I'm a media producer for MIA Media Group. Thank you guys for coming down. I pretty much just wanted to say, hope y'all boys ready for the game tomorrow because we're trying to finish what we started back in 1933.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. No, this is the last one.
Good morning, Coach Scott. This
Good morning.
question is from Grant Roundtree with the Hilltop. Florida A&M is starting Toledo transfer R.J. Johnson at quarterback. How do you plan to set the tone defensively and contain a player with his skill set?
It's about Howard. It's not about whoever they got taking the first snap of the game, whoever's out there. It's about, truly us. And I know sometimes that sounds cliche in the world of football, but in game ones, there's so much ambiguity of what you're going to get, who's going to be out there, what personnel, what scheme, and all of those type of things. So it's about us being able to go out and execute at a high level things that we work really hard on through training camp and do that. And we believe that we just, do things like get lined up and at the end of the day, football is still as fancy as people want to make it and all those type of things. It's still about running, blocking, tackling, catching. Very simple, broad principle things. So if we go out and do those things really, really well, I don't think it matters who's going to take the first snap. If he takes off with the ball and we tackle him, if we run hard to the ball, and do those type of things, we'll be in good shape.
Well, we want to thank Coach Scott and our 2 student athletes, Braylon Smith, Kedrick Green, for their time this morning. Knowing they have very busy schedules, we thank them for joining us this morning. This will conclude this morning's press availability with Howard University. And we're going to take a minute to take a photo of our head coaches, and then we'll get started with Florida A&M University. Once again, Coach Scott and student athletes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Coach James Colsey III, along with running back Thad Franklin Jr. and defensive lineman Cameron Donald. Coach Colsey is entering his second full season as head coach of the Rattlers, coming off of a 7-5 season where FAMU finished second in the SWAC. So we'll start with some opening remarks from Coach Colsey, and then we'll open it up to questions. Coach Colsey.
First of all, good morning. Excited to be here. Excited for FAMU to be making their 49th appearance in the Orange Blossom Classic. In 1933, FAMU played Howard, and FAMU took away the victory 9-6. Would love for that same outcome. I know Rattler Nation would love for that outcome as well. But again, excited to be here this morning. Sitting to my right, Thad Franklin. Sitting to my left is Cam Donald. Two guys that'll be extremely influential in the outcome for the game tomorrow. But I know Rattler Nation is making their way down. Received numerous texts about the traffic at the airport. A lot of people wearing the orange and green. But hopefully, the outcome is in our favor. But I know our guys are going to play extremely hard. They're going to do it the right way. We talk about making sure that we finish and treating this whole thing like a family league. And again, excited to be here and looking forward to the questions that you guys may ask.
Thank you very much, Coach Colsey. Now we'll open it up to questions from you, the media. Again, if you will raise your hand, a microphone will be brought to you. Please state your name, your affiliation, and to whom you would like your question answered. Questions are now open.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, players. Good morning. My name is Robert Jones, Section 104 Sports Media. And my question is to the coach. How much of a challenge is keeping recruits focused on team culture when NIL deals and transfer portals opportunities pull them in different directions?
Just right off the bat right there, huh? Well, I think it's important for us to make sure these are two young men that, coming in, they had an extra year of eligibility. And, I think the biggest thing for us is making sure we take care of our guys while they're here. Regardless, not just NIL, but just, making sure the student athlete experience is what they make out of it. So Thad Franklin's getting ready to graduate here in December. And then you got Cameron Donald, who's going to be graduating as well with his master's degree. So these are two guys that entered the portal, made the great decision to come to Florida A&M University. And for the most part, just making sure that these two guys are taken care of while they're here and making sure that their student athlete experience is what it needs to be.
Hello, good morning. My name is Nikki Jellin with Paradise TV. So I have lived vicariously through OBC as far as HBCU culture, celebration, and pride. I did not attend HBCU, so I'm like having a good time with the battles of the band, with the football games and so forth. So for those that may not be sure about attending HBCU, what do you want to say to them? And these are for the players and then for you, Coach, as well.
You guys go first. Offense goes first always, so go ahead.
In my opinion, I think HBCU is good. Before coming, I had doubts because I came from University of Miami, but I got here and it's the same thing. It's just college football.
I would say that just like you, I had no idea what it was like to attend an HBCU. I believe they shared it in a way that was easy for me to digest. I was excited to come, just to see the atmosphere and, the family experience. And I could say that's what it's been for me. It's been a family experience the whole time I've been here.
For me, obviously, going to Florida State University myself, going to a PWI, I just think the unity involved on the campus, there's a closeness. You talk about the Saturdays, right, with the bands and, the alumni and et cetera. But I just think the week, how Monday through Friday is, the unity from the campus. You're gonna hear every single day wishing our players and wishing our coaches luck, because I just feel that they know more. They're more in it, right? There's 10,000 students here at Florida A&M, and every single one of them are hanging on what we're gonna do on Saturday or how we're gonna finish on Saturday. So just the closeness of the university, the closeness of the staff, the alumni, and so that's the biggest thing that I take from that.
My orange and my green, y'all see?
Well, I don't see the orange. I don't really see the orange. I don't see the orange. Okay.
Good morning, all. Nikki Svek, editor-in-chief of MIA Magazine. And as it relates to name, image, likeness, how would you say that's impacted your brand as a student athlete, if it has?
For me, I would say that it's been something that I'm still trying to get into as a student athlete. I'm excited to pursue NIL this upcoming season as well, and for my brand as well. But for our team as a whole, I think that's something that's a need as well. And I'm just excited to see how that's going to play out for us this season.
Can you repeat it? I'm sorry.
As it relates to name, image, likeness, how has that impacted your brand as a student athlete, if at all, or yet, we'll say?
I mean, it helped me. It helped me a lot. Being able to help take care of like some of my family members. I have a little daughter, so it helps a lot.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Nikki. See you.
Hey, Rattlers.
Hello.
I'm Christina Compare Minor, social media manager for Florida A&M University. And my question is, the #1 public HBCU, Florida A&M University, and the #1 private HBCU, Howard University, will be going head to head tomorrow. But we have a lot of incoming students and current students that are inspired by you all. What are your majors currently? What will you be graduating with? What is your ultimate career goal after your athlete reign?
My major is IDS. It's like kinesiology. When I graduate, I want to be a coach somewhere. Well, when I'm finished playing football. So.
I'm currently a sports management master's student. I graduated with my bachelor's in exercise science. So I look to do game day operations directing and also strength and conditioning afterwards.
Good morning. My name is Dominique Williams with Annenberg Media. I'm also a graduate with Cook University, the other best HBCU
Her
in
questions are
Florida.
done. Her questions are done. We don't answer those questions.
As most HBCU grads, we do, fly high across other states. And as based in LA, HBCUs have been growing the attention, and with a game like yours on the Classic, on the channel, on TV, exposing to other Western regions, how are you as a coach are able to use that to recruiting, but also just exposing more HBCU culture in Florida?
Well, that's a great question as well. I'll say this: FAMU is a brand not just in South Florida, not just in the state of Florida. It's a national brand. Believe it or not, I go out and speak at a lot of different places across the country, and if I'm wearing anything FAMU related, it doesn't matter whether it's someone in the airport, someone outside. They definitely recognize the brand. So I will say for me, I'm wearing FAMU all the time. That orange and green is gonna be worn religiously no matter where I go, and it's always exciting that when I do wear that, the people that I come across, when they graduated, things of that nature, where they were from, and so, I'll give you a story if you don't mind. I had an opportunity to go speak in Chicago and last year, and you realize that how far FAMU reaches when I go out to Chicago. I speak at 2 or 3 different events, and the amount of people that are from Chicago that have passed many universities just to come to FAMU, it surprised me. So now, obviously, you go out to Vegas, you go out to LA, FAMU is all over the place. So there's not a whole lot I have to do. FAMU needs to continue to do what FAMU's been doing, and as long as I can continue to uphold that standard as a head football coach, and have our players and our team be the way they need to be, the rest will take care of itself.
Following up, I understand the brand FAMU and HBCU have, and I'm not sure the age of the players, but I don't know if you guys remember the show Martin. They were notorious of wearing different HBCU on, their sweaters and paraphernalia. So for yourselves choosing HBCUs, how much has the representation you've seen growing up and that you're seeing it now where you're in those shoes representing for the players?
I would say it's been huge. I grew up knowing about FAMU even as a South Carolina resident, and then even moving to the Atlanta area as well. FAMU brand runs deep, and I think it's going to continue to grow just even more in the future as well.
Good morning. My name is Jesse Coleman, Video Mix TV. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. So the last time you both teams lined up, there was a lot at stake, the HBCU national title and that sort of thing. Do you feel? I mean, do you have players on the current roster that were a part of that experience? And what does the last time you guys competed? What is that? What part does that play in your?
Well, these two, they were not here yet, but obviously I was an assistant head coach, and defensive back coach at the time. So we do have a few guys that are on our team that that took part and played in that game. And first guy that comes to mind is our big time offensive lineman Ashton Grable, who's our starting left tackle in 2023, and now he's our starting guard. So I just think that yes, you have some guys on our team that went through the journey, but the 2025 Howard and the 2025 FAMU football teams, they're completely different, right? I mean, believe it or not, there's a lot of stake tomorrow as well. Obviously teams that are trying to start off, 1-0 and build, on whatever, on the victory for tomorrow. So, I mean, you have guys that experience the championship. They experience the run. That can only bode well for our experience as a football team. But the way that game finished in 2023, yeah, people are going to discuss and talk about it. But I don't think that game's going to have any bearing on what's going to happen tomorrow.
Okay, so college football, classwork as well, educational, achievements as well. It's a very heavy sport. There's a lot that goes into it. This is a two-part question. So, Coach, for you, how do you mentally help your players during practice and game day? And how do you help them juggle doing sports and also personal family issues and also their school education as well?
They're going to probably disagree with me, but I would just say that I guess looking at them and knowing when they need a day off, just giving them that opportunity to breathe. We do a lot of things in the morning. So, probably by like 9 or 9:30 in the morning, we're done with football. Whether it's lifting or practice, we meet 5:30, 5:45. The guys are up and ready to go. We're doing our special teams. We're doing our meetings from 6:30, and then we're on the field every morning at about 7:30. So at about 9 and 9:30, when they are done with football, you know what I mean? And then they have the opportunity, for their classes and things of that nature. So, I think we try to keep them extremely structured, right? But they know that what they have to do in the morning is football, while they have the remainder of their day to take care of any of the other stuff. So, they don't know this, but we do a lot of stuff in the morning. I don't tell the team now. We do a lot of stuff in the morning to make sure they're doing what they need to do at night, which is sleep and do the things that necessary. But don't tell anybody. That's why we do it. Okay, but just allowing them just that opportunity. And we had a couple of days during training camp. We were supposed to have meetings, and how their eyes look when I say, "Hey, look, we're gonna take the night off," and just to kind of reload and refresh. So I think for me, just having a good feel of what I think those guys need. These are our team leaders here. They do a great job of letting me know, hey, coach, we need to maybe do some things here, take care of some things there. So, just having that open transparency with my team. But again, stuff in the morning, they do what they need to do the rest of the day, just so they can prepare themselves for the next day.
Awesome. And Thad and Cameron. So how has it been under Coach Colsey's, coaching and mentorship? And what's that one thing he preaches all the time? That one thing he says all the time?
It's been good. So I love Coach Cody. But the one thing he preaches is discipline, and that's what we're gonna be big on this year because we lacked it last year.
I'll have to feed off what that said. I love playing for Coach Colsey. I think he really cares about us as players. He puts the right support system in place for us, and like he said, discipline has been our biggest motto this offseason. How we do anything is how we do everything. So I would just have to say that about Coach Colsey.
Thank you. We have one more question.
How you doing, Coach? Kyle Mosley from Sports Illustrated HBCU Legends has a question. Do you believe playing the game in Florida gives you a home advantage?
Well, I want to say thank you first for helping me with that branding issue today, because they didn't know why we were doing it, but you understand why I had to do it. Well, I just does playing in Florida give us an advantage? It's a neutral site, but no, I mean, obviously we got 25 to 30 guys that are from South Florida on our football team, and that's the Miami, the Dade, Broward, West Palm Beach area. Does it provide us the opportunity with more fans? Yes, but I think we're all going to be playing on that field tomorrow. Will it be hot? Possibly, but we work in that weather, we play in that weather, we practice in that weather. A lot of times our guys ask why we practice at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That was to prepare for this type of an environment, But I know Howard will be really, they'll be represented well as well, also. But we're hopefully we're a little bit more used to this weather than they may be. But ultimately, two good football teams, playing in a big time environment, and then hopefully we're the team that powers through. But I feel that we've prepared our team for this type of setting / environment, in regards to the weather.
Well, that concludes this portion of our press conference. We'd like to thank Coach Colsey and his two student athletes, Thad Franklin Jr. and Cameron Donald. We know you have a very busy schedule, so we thank you for taking time to join us this morning. A reminder to members of the media, if you've not picked up your credentials yet, you'll have the opportunity to do so right outside of this room in between now and the luncheon, and if not then after the luncheon. So we look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. We thank you for attending, obviously, today. Enjoy the luncheon, and we'll see you tomorrow at Hard Rock Stadium for kickoff at 4 o'clock of the 2025 QQQ Invesco Orange Blossom Classic. Thank you.
Let's take some photos. Get some photos. Can we get photos in the front? Perfect.